Where's the dog? I'm checking for the dog.
615. And here's Leah.
I was just sort of checking for the dog. Hi, everybody. I don't really care if anyone else is around as long as I know where that dog is. So let's see. All right. Well, there is a lot going on in the world. I just heard on the news that that laundry guy that they were looking for in the camping thing, the parents told, you got to follow Brian, Entin. He's the news guy. He's every hour updates. But apparently the parents told the cops or whoever they were going to go walk the trail today and keep looking for him, and coincidentally they found some of his items there. Now they're calling in somebody to for whatever you call it to see if it's any remains or not. So that's pending and nobody knows. But I don't know. I mean, how do we, I don't know. I just think it's coincidental the parent said that. Also, though, I don't think the guy would kill himself, but also how do you survive that long there? Or maybe this is another ruse because he's really somewhere else. I mean, there's so many unknowns about that. Someone's going to write a movie one day. Michael Moore, where are you? Well, I went to Dallas on Friday. When did I go? Thursday Thursday at noon. I went to Dallas. Went to a restaurant that night with Jeff and Shane. They gave us a private room in the back of I guess everyone thinks Jeff's like this big, huge star because they gave us this big, nice little room in the back with curtains and everything. I was like, well, I'm feeling important. And then they ordered whatever. They ordered seafood and they ordered steak and they ordered something else and they ordered a bottle of wine and I didn't eat that much. I ate a little piece of halibut because I was just so wound up from just getting off the plane and going to the hotel and having to get up early that morning and getting settled in the hotel. But the restaurant was fabulous. It was called Dakota and it's right near the Fairmont in downtown Dallas. So we did that, and then the next morning we did the the radio show, Jeff's radio show out of the hotel. Let's see who's calling. I don't know why. I just can't help myself. And we did the radio show the next morning at 11 Dallas time, 12 Miami time, 9 LA time. The minute it was over, they got on a plane and went out of town. Well, they went to the airport. Well, during the radio show, so many people went on to buy the special that the website crashed, and it wasn't supposed to because we had backup, and the people said they would have the support.
It was the host
there,
side, yeah.
The host side, and they didn't have the support people there like they said they would, and so we lost a few people. But because of that, we added a few, like 100 or something. Specials for you guys if you want them. It is the face wash, the CBD soothing eye cream, the moisture renewal cream, 500 milligrams of CBD. So really two of these are our best sellers, and the third one is a staple product for many years. It's a $264 value for $149. So you're saving almost close to 50%. But you need to go to leahblack.com/Jeff, leahblack.com/Jeff, and see if there are any left. There'll probably be a few left today. And then that's the end of that. And then, so when RJ and I got to the airport, I put him in the car to Waco, and I went to the hotel room. And then the next day after the show, I got in the car and went to Waco. And then when he was in Waco, oh my God, he had a blast. He went to the gun range twice, once one day and once the next day. He got to shoot all these various guns he likes. Literally the second day I went with him, I was just holding my breath. I was like, I couldn't even breathe. And I made this guy, I buttered up this guy to go, that's like he works there. He's supposed to supervise like 4 people. I had him on RJ the whole time. I was begging you, stay with him, please. But he shot these guns and they shot these targets. And I guess, listen, if you're gonna shoot guns, it's better to do that than to shoot an animal with it, you know? So I was just like, I'll get that over with. Then we went to the houseboat, and they went in the houseboat, and they hung out there for a little while. That's when I was on the phone with James doing business. They hung out at the houseboat for a little while. Then we went from the houseboat. They just do stuff all the time. I don't know. In Texas, it's like they don't ever stop. I was so worn out from the chatter by the time I got to the room that night. I thought I was going to have an anxiety attack. I was like, this is why people start to drink. I may have to order myself a drink. So then they went to this golf thing, where they have, I guess there's so much land in Texas that they don't use. They had this golf thing twice the size of a baseball field, where they had flags and numbers and circles, and you hit the ball and then you get points. My nephew hit that ball all the way to the fence at least a dozen times, and you get 75 points. Everyone else's ball was going like a third of the way to the fence. He hit the fence. I said, do you think we're playing baseball or something? Well, he almost went to University of Texas on a football scholarship, but I think he had an injury, like a shoulder injury or something. There was some reason why he didn't. But he's very athletic. And then my other nephew's also very athletic. He almost played professional golf, but then his dad almost played professional golf. But then they decided they didn't want to leave Waco. They want to stay there and live in Waco. So live in Waco. And so they did that. Then my mother cooks. Oh my God, she just cooks so much fattening food all the time. And Roy Jr. helped her make this. It's called the Mississippi Mud Pie Cake. Have you ever had that?
Are you kidding? My mother and grandmother used to make them all the time.
I wish I didn't know. She's going to mail me one. I'm going to give you some of it. I don't want it. I said, do not mail it to me.
Don't mail it to me.
I'm going to give it to RJ for his dorm.
Huge.
First of all, it was probably a foot long and probably like 8 to 10 inches wide.
It's like a candy bar.
And it's got all this stuff on it. Chocolate, like a brownie.
And coconut and chocolate chips and almond and graham cracker.
And pecans and marshmallows on the top.
Yeah,
oh my God.
It's like it reminds me of a German chocolate cake candy bar. That's what it's like.
Huge. And RJ, who rarely eats sweets, he's very funny about what he eats, and he studies what he eats and what kind of protein is it, and he won't have all the junk, and anybody that's got an ounce of body fat, he's like, they're not eating properly, so, including me. And so he ate at least 4 or 5 pieces of it over the weekend. I left it there. My mother tried to give it to me to bring home, and I'm like, I am not leaving this town with that cake, because I would have eaten it. So unfortunately, when I got in the car, I noticed there was a little piece of it still in my bag, and I ate it in the car. I mean, it was just so good. So we did that. And then we saw, I bought this little house there next to my nephew's house, and they're going to flip it. So we saw that, and I said, RJ, you're going to make a commission on this if you help, but you have to help, you have to work. I don't know, like he's going to really work. But anyway, so they're going to flip that house. So we did that, and then what else do we do? I guess I just saw everybody. We went to this Dan's Barbecue. They go there all the time. It's been there 45 years. Can you believe it? And they ordered all this stuff, that most of which stuff I wouldn't eat, but Roy Jr. ate, like, he even told me, he said, even those ribs were even too rich for me. And Roy Jr. can eat ribs. Like, he can really eat those ribs. So they're extra rich there. I don't know what they put in them. Probably sugar, had to guess.
Probably.
So we did that. And then on the way back to Dallas, I was on the phone the whole time, and I wasn't paying attention. And I heard I could not wait to get out of Waco and get to Dallas and get in a luxury hotel and just chill out. I was so overwhelmed with every minute of the day was packed with 30 people. And I was just so like, I just going to go to the hotel. I'm just going to chill out. Well, call the hotels, the wrong hotel. Jason fixed that problem. Thank God. That would have been 30 minutes on each side, because I passed that hotel on the way to the airport. It would have been a big damn deal with traffic. Anyway, we get to the hotel. They meet me. I called, I guess you buttered up the girl named Heather. I get there. She thinks you buttered her up. Yeah, she thought I was with the Travis Tritt band. She walked up to me and goes, oh, I have your things already. I was like, oh my God, you must have really been great. And so, and then when I saw it was a Travis Tritt, I said, oh, I'm not with that, but I've heard that name before. Well, apparently he got into big trouble on Twitter because he's blocking everybody, because I guess he's an anti-masker or something. So he's telling everybody he's not going to do his concerts anymore if you have to wear a mask. So I wish I would have known who he was and known all of that when I was there, because I definitely would have grabbed him. Yeah, I looked him up afterwards, but I mean, everyone obviously in Texas knows who he is. But anyway, so before we get to the room, I can't wait to get to the room. Can't wait. Oh my God, I'm just going to take a hot bath. I am just going to not have any noise in my room at all. In Waco, by the way, we had a 2-bedroom suite with a full kitchen and living room. I couldn't even believe it. But then they wouldn't let me check out, and because I wanted to check out one day early, they wouldn't let me, so they were going to make me pay. So I was just going to dispute it on my credit card. But I know there's a line of people because there was a homecoming football game at Baylor, and they also had the rodeo. What do you call it? The Heart of Texas Rodeo, Fair and Rodeo that weekend. And RJ went to a concert there, to some Western concert with my nephews. The night I wasn't there, they went to that. So they wouldn't let me check out. And I'm like, I paid $160 a night at the Fairmont, and I'm paying $400 in Waco, Texas. You guys have stepped on these rates. There's a list a mile long. Everybody wants this room. I'm going to just take it up. I mean, I just went out of there. I just went out blazing in the lobby. Then my mother goes, well, your cousin's staying on the houseboat because they couldn't get a room. They called every hotel. There are no rooms. I said, yeah, they're going to double dip and they're going to sell that room. They're going to take my $400 and sell it to somebody else, take another $400. And I'm going to dispute it on and I told them I'm going to call the chairman of the company. I'm going to tell everybody on social media. I mean, I was a Karen. You
were in a really good mood anyways.
Plus, I was already in a bad mood.
Because I had already been hitting the
went down.
Exactly.
I was just livid.
Well, I will just tell you, Kathy Montgomery from New York has just written in, and she said she got the $149 set. She's already got it. She says, I love it. I only used it this morning for this first time. It made my makeup look great, and I'm saving up so I can order your other wonderful products.
Oh, thank you, Kathy. Yeah, because we would have sold out in 5 minutes if the website wouldn't have crashed. But
and she can't believe how fast she got it.
She got it overnight, yeah, because when we don't do it directly and he has someone else do it, it takes him a month to get it. So you get the wash, which lasts you months. You get the eye cream, the CBD eye cream, which is it may be our #1 seller, close to. And then the 500 milligram CBD face cream. Now in the winter especially, or if you have dry skin or any of that, you got to buy that for $149. Just go to leahblack.com/Jeff. So anyway, so then I hear my sister on the phone with somebody asking, because RJ's like, well, I've never seen downtown Dallas. I'm like, well, take a good look. We're going to drive right through it because we're going straight to that hotel. Do not pass go. You can order room service. Well, I'd really like to eat at a hotel downstairs. Well, downtown. A restaurant downtown. Well, my mother and my sister are like Roy and Freda. Whatever Roy Jr. wants to do, he does. Yeah. There's no discipline. We're the adults in the room. My sister's on the phone calling and saying she booked a restaurant downtown. She got the name of a restaurant to go to downtown. I said, Selena, it is 7:30. Do you think you're just going to walk in a steakhouse in downtown Dallas on a Saturday night and get a table with no reservation? Oh, I never thought about that. Well, of course not, because in Waco you don't need a reservation, I'm sure. You probably know everybody and you probably got empty seats. So she tells me the name of the restaurant. I said, that's the same restaurant I went to with Jeff. So I call up the girl and I go, listen, do you have anything for 4 people? I said, my sister... It tells me we're like literally a block away, and I didn't know we were coming here. And she goes, well, we're really full. It's Saturday night at prime time. I'm like, well, I was there 2 nights ago with Jeff Lewis, whereby I paid the bill and left a huge tip. Mm-hmm. And I said, we were there 2 nights ago with Jeff Lewis, and we had a really great table and a private booth. And I said, if you could squeeze us in anywhere, it'd be great, because my son's only opportunity to eat in downtown Dallas. We get there, they treat me like I am the Queen of England, because I had tipped so big and the bill was so high. And they gave us the same table in the back room with the drapes and everything, our private little room. And my mother and my sister thought, I swear to God, oh my God, well, we're feeling so important. Well, it's fabulous. We'll have a martini. Oh, they're like, at Waco, like there's nothing like that in Waco, Texas. And you would think they come medium rare, and they're ordering all this stuff. And I am like, oh my God, I guess it was worth it. I just couldn't wait to leave because I wanted to get in the hot tub and just like chill out. So we eat there, then we go to the hotel, then they think I'm with Travis Tritt, then we check in. It just went on. Oh, and I didn't tell you what happened with the dog. You know how Jeff can't stand the dog, right? He hates me bringing the dog. And when we used to watch Flipping Out, you'll see when I was coming out of my house with the dog, Jenny's in the car going, oh, she's got the dog with her. And Jeff's like, I can't believe she's got the dog. Yeah. And he can't stand the dog. And then when we went shopping, for furniture, I had the dog, and I made the mistake of not knowing he hated the dog so much. I put a blanket down, put the dog on the sofa, and fed the dog at the furniture store.
Yeah.
And he was dying, and I had no idea. Then later he confessed, people don't take their dogs anywhere. Makes you look like an old lady. Why are you taking the dog? So you're going to believe, I was so stressed out with everything else about even just the whole thing. I had the dog in the bag. So I took a scarf like this. Actually, James, it was the one you gave me. One of the ones you gave me, the McQueen with the thing. Remember you gave me the pale
pink one?
The pale one
like
with it.
Orangish color.
And it kind of disappears. It's not real loud,
right.
You know, it's soft. I wrapped the dog's bag in that scarf and put it like if it was a tote bag on my arm. And then I pulled the scarf up at the bottom to cover his face and walked in the restaurant. I hung him on the chair, and I kind of half covered his face, and Jeff was over there, so he couldn't see him, but Shane could have seen him. Then Shane goes, "Oh, there's a hook on the wall. Well, you want me to take your purse and put it on the wall?" No, I need my tote bag right here. When we left, I showed Jeff I had the dog there the whole time. He didn't know it. He didn't even know it. And then he goes, "Well, what are you going to do with the dog in the morning?" And then he goes, "Well, you can bring him to the radio show," because he felt bad.
It was funny. He started growling at him at the beginning of the show.
The dog never made a peep the whole time we were there, and there was something that made him growl a little bit.
They're a good judge of character. That's why.
That's funny. So either Shane...
And I'll just also say there was a different reason why they put Jeff in that room. Back with the curtains. Oh. I mean, you got put back there for a completely different reason.
Yeah, exactly. What if he flips out? So they didn't even know I had the dog. So now I have a new plan. Jason, I went on the plane, and they didn't even know I had the dog. California. So I just was like, just what if there's a problem? Yeah. So I just walked right on. No one even said a word. The dog sat right. No one even knew the dog was around. He's so little. He's 5 pounds. Why is he picking on my dog? Anyway, so there was that.
Everyone, our internet's been giving us a little problems this morning, so I apologize. It's cut out twice, the video has.
Everybody's internet's. Even Facebook's went out for half a day, but I still think they might be deleting some information.
They're changing the name of the company.
So then you know what they should call it?
They're going to do what Google did. They're going to call it like Alphabet and then have all the other like pieces underneath it. That's
what they should do is call it Fake Book because there's so much fake news on there. That's what this guy on Twitter says. So then I get back, I found out this friend of mine has brain cancer, but it's not, or I'll tell you who it is later. It's not cancerous, but she's going to have surgery. And I was like, oh my God.
She has brain cancer, but it's not cancer.
It's not cancerous.
You mean it's not?
It's a tumor. She has a brain tumor that's not cancerous. So it's a benign. Yeah. She's having surgery in November.
She has the Kim Zolciak
oh my God.
That she had, but she didn't have, but she had.
I can't with all those girls. It's too much. So let's see.
Kyle Clark is asking, what are you going to be dressing up as this Halloween? I'm sure he wants a wide-brimmed hat.
I will ignore Halloween like I always do. The last time we did Halloween was when we took RJ trick-or-treating on Fisher Island in the golf courts. That's my idea. Golf court on Fisher Island, that's my idea. But then when we go to LA, if we were ever there on Halloween, we sit outside at the restaurant and watch the craziest gay people you've ever seen in your life.
It's like Lincoln Road.
They spend the whole year making these most outrageous, fabulous costumes. Mm-hmm. Like I've never seen anything like it, Yep. I mean, I wish I had that talent and that patience.
I used to love to go to the Forge on Halloween, but for their costume contest, because they always had one of the best ones I ever saw was someone dressed up like the alien creature from Alien, and it was like everything.
It was like they could get an award.
It was like a movie. Yeah, it was better than the movie.
Exactly. They could be one of those costume designers on the movie. They're
fantastic.
incredible,
Yeah.
But I personally don't like Halloween. I don't like the crowds. I don't like they're crazy, but I don't mind observing it. I just don't want to be in it, But I like to sit back. Like if you get a table on, like in Sunset Boulevard or Santa Monica Boulevard in LA, and you can sit back in a restaurant at the table outside and watch the crazy, that's the way to do it. And when RJ was little and we went on the golf course at Fisher Island, well, you pull up the golf course, the little kids go up and ring your friend's doorbell, and one time we went over there and this woman I won't even say her name because you may know her.
Probably
She handed out to each kid those $25 Godiva chocolate bars that were this big.
Was it MA?
No, it wasn't her. It wasn't
Because
her.
she would do
Wasn't
that
her.
too. She would save all of the boxes from Christmas that she would get from business and stuff, and
Yeah.
then she'd give them out to the kids on Halloween. That's what
I'm
she did.
telling you, RJ came back and it was so heavy and it barely fit in his bag. He goes, like, Mom, hold this one. I don't want to fill my bag up. I'm like, this is a Godiva chocolate bar. It's probably $25 that this woman was handing to every kid on the island. I'm
Yeah.
like, this is really over the top. I mean, okay, I'll take it. So anyway, I'm watching The Voice. Are you guys watching The Voice?
I watched it a little bit last night, and I watched it last week a little bit.
I don't think it's as exciting this year. I don't know. You know what it is? We
They
haven't
just
gotten.
put too many of them. I mean, it's in its like already 20th season. It's only been on 10
it's-
years. It's like-
I love it, but I think the problem this year for me is I've watched it so many times that I don't really like when they compete against each other and they pick the winner. I like it when they start with the individual voices.
Right.
What do you call that? Where they do the thing? I
The
don't love
steal
that.
or something.
Yeah,
Isn't that what it's called?
Where
It's
they
the-
compete against each other, the knockout.
Oh, yeah,
rounds
the
or
knockout
something.
round.
I don't like that so much. But once they get to the individual people, then I'm more into it, because I don't know why. There's something about it. So maybe I think that's what it is. I think that I'm waiting for that to happen. So I was watching that. And then Succession is launching. We have to watch Succession.
I watched it. That's what I was doing Sunday when you were calling and we were trying to do.
That was the
was
first
premiere,
one?
yeah.
Oh my God. Well, we're TiVoing that. We have
That's
to
what
watch
when you
that.
called me and said, "Is it a bad time?" I was like, "Why isn't she watching Succession?"
Yeah, well, because I was
But
so
we were-
preoccupied
I know, we were
with all
working
the
on
other
other
stuff.
stuff.
And then Billions, I didn't realize it. Billions, I have the last 2 episodes TiVoed. That's the end of the season.
Yeah.
And then when they said they were starting up in January, I thought it was going to go till January. They're going to start up again in January. And then Damien's not going to be in the next season,
I think there's
Damian
a-
Lewis.
I think isn't there a spinoff too or something like that?
Well, he's not going to be in the next one. I think it's because his wife died and he has his 2 small children, and I would imagine that had a big impact on him. I'd say I'm staying home with my kids for the next 2 or 3 years until they readjust. I don't care about that show.
Yeah.
But he's such a great actor. I mean, it's not going to be the same without him. I
They're
love
asking
him.
if you've watched Squid Games on Netflix.
No.
No, we have.
What is
I haven't
it?
either, but Leah would not like that kind of show.
What is it?
It's very.
Are you watching it?
Dystopian competition where people it's a dystopian drama, but it's very violent.
I don't like that stuff. I'm not watching that.
Yeah, you would
I
not
don't
like it. But it is the number 1 streamed television show ever on Netflix now since they put it out, and they said it's worth.
That just shows you people like the violence. They love all that violence.
It's like huge. It's a Korean show too.
Because it's very, very calculated.
It's calculating and makes you think, Jason Singh.
Do you want to
Like, do you want to suffer the rest of your life?
It's like
No.
it says it's like trying to look away from a train wreck. That's
Yeah.
what they're saying on.
Yeah, I'm not going to watch
I don't know
it.
if I would like that.
I don't want to get stressed out about one more thing.
Yeah.
Okay, let's just start
I
right
like
there.
the Hunger Games bothered me,
I didn't
and
watch that
that's
either.
what this looks like to me.
I didn't watch that either. So meanwhile, we knew Larry Flint very well for many years, and then his wife, I've maintained a contact with her. I check on her all the time. I check on her in LA. I send her flowers. I send her strawberries. I send her, chocolate covered strawberries. How are you doing, Liz? You doing okay? Is there anything anybody can do? Because I was so worried about her. They were together for so many years. Well, she doesn't even bother to tell me. I read in the newspaper. Apparently, she's taking over his entire empire. Now, I'm sure she's got a slew of lawyers. But I thought if anyone would take it over, it'd be the daughter. But she's taken over his entire empire. So there you have that. His entertainment and gambling empire.
Wow.
That's a lot. She was a former nurse. I think that's how she met him, if I'm not mistaken.
Huh.
Okay, now in celebrity news, Jussie Smollett. He's
saw
in some
that.
big trouble. Their trial's going to start January 29th.
Yep.
So remember, he faked that
Attack. It was
that
the-
he, yeah, it was
and
an
then he said
impact.
they had MAGA, or they made all
Yeah.
that. He tried to blame all that.
He tried to blame it on, people attacking black people. And I don't know why he would do that. It's stupid. Why would he do that? He was on Empire. He was a big deal on Empire. He had a career going. And he tried to make it, that's when people were attacking black people, and he tried to make it look like he was being attacked because he was black. And then he got busted, and that guy ratted him out. Now he's going to trial. I think that's a huge mistake. I think he should make a settlement, because he's got witnesses that are going to go tell the whole story, and it's going to come out in the paper, just like Winona Weiner when she stole all that stuff from Saks. Instead of putting it out there in the press with all the documentation and all the testimony and everybody knowing every morsel of the dirty laundry, she should have just settled. Well, that case, I think the lawyer wanted to be on TV. That's my opinion. But on this one, he should just settle it. Whatever the consequences, settle it. I made a mistake, and move on. He puts that out there, and they go to trial, he's done. I'm just telling you, that's how I see it. Now, Lev Parnas's trial is going on. I text Lev. I texted him last night, how's your trial going? I wonder if I heard back from him. Let me look. I bet I didn't, because in the middle of a trial, nobody ever, no, I didn't. Yeah, hoping your trial is going good for you. I said that last night. So, and Roy's in a trial, don't even mention any, just stay away. So then, Jason, you're going to love this. Vince Neil, well, you're not going to love that it happened, but it's going to be interesting. Vince Neil fell off the stage.
Yeah.
They said he was sober. He fell 4 feet in Tennessee and had to go to the hospital. But do you remember when he performed at our gala? Oh my God, he was so drunk. Apparently they drank a case of beer at the pool that day, is what I heard later. He was so drunk, he stood up and F you and F you. And there's that lawyer that stole money from me, talking to his lawyer. Yeah. His ex-lawyer or somebody. I know the guy and his wife and everything. And he went on, and remember how offensive he was, and he couldn't sing, and I was holding him up, and if I knew the words to the song, I would have just started singing with him, but I didn't know the words, and we were just trying to keep it going, and then we got him off the stage. Well, he fell off the stage, and apparently he was completely sober. He's a good guy. He's just got issues. And the Banksy painting sold again. Did you hear that, Jason?
Yeah.
$25.4 million. So this is the third time since the first time, right? Or the second? It's 18 and now 24. Yeah. And remember when it happened and everyone was like, oh my God, the painting's ruined. And now it's like gone up, up, up. That was definitely calculated prank that the guy pulled.
That's all he does.
Yeah, that's what he does. And it paid off.
Remember the banana at Art Basel,
right.
the last time we had Art Basel?
Right. That's right. That's right. I
The
forgot.
banana peel sold for like $10,000 or something like that.
And everyone in town was making fun of it. People were just taping a banana on the windshield of their car.
Yeah, there were memes all
And
over
just
town.
making fun of
People
it.
were like in the design district with bananas on the windshield trying to sell the car.
So Ringo Starr said that if it weren't for Paul McCartney, we probably would have made 3 albums. Well, how many albums did they make? Did they only make 2?
Who, the Beatles?
Yeah, because he's saying if it weren't for Paul McCartney, we probably would have made 3 albums. So I don't know if he's saying that they would have stopped at 3 or that they stopped at 2. I don't know. But anyway, he said because we were all got involved in other things, and they just wanted to get away from it all and relax.
Well,
so I didn't even know what that even meant.
That doesn't make sense. The Beatles had 54 compilation albums. And
Okay, so what that means is Paul McCartney kept on making albums.
Yeah.
If it wasn't for him, they would have stopped at 3, and they wanted to go chill out.
They only had 5 live albums.
Okay,
though.
so they would have
So
stopped
that's
at 3.
exactly
so
what it
good
was.
for Paul McCartney,
Yeah.
because he got, the other one got, John Lennon got the rap for breaking up the band because of his
For
wife,
Yoko.
and no one's ever forgiven her.
No.
And I don't even know if that's true either. I mean, who knows? You never know with these people. Now there's a new...
She sold the catalog too recently.
Oh, she did?
Within the last year. Of
She's
what
got so much money.
But she's
Oh, my
not.
gosh.
She's not well apparently. So.
Oh, really? I
yeah.
think I
like
did
health
hear
problems.
that.
I think.
did hear that. Yeah. I hope she takes care of his son. So meanwhile, Adele has a new song out. Now Shane told me, because he just broke up with his boyfriend of 5 years in New York, and he's in LA. Well, of course, that's not going to work for too long. Anyway, Shane told me it made him cry. The album made him cry. Did anybody hear the album?
No, I don't.
what does
I've
it
had
say
enough
that
to make
made
me
you
cry
cry?
lately. I don't need to listen to that.
The words are intense. Well, damn. Who wrote them? Did she write them?
Yeah.
It was about her divorce or something. Well, I guess we're just going to have to, I guess we're going to have to listen to it, but I'm probably not going to cry. Okay, so now, Jonah Hill, remember the actor from, what was the name of that with DiCaprio, where they were, whatever. Anyway, so he wants the world to know that his body is not an appropriate talking point.
Yeah, no.
Oh my God.
I saw his tweet.
What a sensitive little puss.
No, but here's what happened. He was a really big guy and he lost weight.
So what? And my body is not a talking point.
He just said, he just said it did not make him feel good when people say anything positive or negative concerning his body shape. That's what he said.
Get over yourself. Oh my God. Cher is suing Mary Bono for a royalty in the 60s. They were supposed to split the royalty in the divorce for I guess their albums and whatever. And Cher is suing her for $1 million. And you remember at the funeral, she was hugging her and kissing her and saying they were best friends for life and she was always going to be there for Mary. Well, I guess Mary's pocketing the royalties. And Cher's going to sue her. So I don't know. Sounds kind of strange, the whole thing. So Katie Couric, in other celebrity news, is coming out with a book. She admitted that she edited out Ruth Ginsburg's controversial comment about Ginsburg responded negative when people kneeled for the national anthem, and she edited that out of her book. You know what, bitch? Either put it in the book when Ruth is here to defend herself, or go to your grave with it. You don't come out with it after she's dead.
No, I thought that what had happened was that when she did the interview, they edited the video, not the book. She entered the video.
Exactly.
Because you said the book. That's what I was trying to understand.
She admitted that she edited the controversial comments in the sit-down interview, and so now she puts it in a book. You know, she and Megyn Kelly could be off together. You withhold stuff to sell a book, either shut up about it or talk about it when she's alive to defend herself. I've lost all regard for Katie Couric now. And she did not include the quotes from the justice calling the just, you're dumb and disrespectful. And so Ruth didn't agree with taking a knee. Well, so she didn't agree with it. I mean, say it or shut up, but don't say it after she's dead. I mean, that's just horrible. And she said that Ginsburg, who was 83 at the time, probably didn't fully understand the question. Shut the F up. The woman was on the court years after that, and she certainly did understand the question. She never was mentally impaired. You know, I'm done with Katie. Do not buy the book. And so she wanted to protect her. You know what? You're either a journalist or you're not. I mean, that just infuriated me. I don't like people. Actually, I heard there's some filming going on now where somebody's going to out someone that's dead. You know, you don't do that. You bring it up when they're alive and give them an opportunity to defend themselves. You don't wait till they're dead and then come up and make lies about them or even tell the truth about them, unless it's something positive and endearing. I just don't agree with that. Meanwhile, this guy tweeted some crazy thing about Trump and what he was doing. And I said, well, was that before or after he was buying Greenland, nuking the hurricanes, injecting the bleach, you know, are playing to both sides at the Charlotte rally? I mean, he made some other stupid thing the other day that was just, I wish I would have kept it. It was just so dumb that he said. And I'm like, oh, that's not the dumbest thing he ever said. He said he was going to buy Greenland. He said you could nuke hurricanes. He said there were good people on both sides at the KKK rally. He said you can ingest bleach. That's not the dumbest thing he ever said. Meanwhile, so the Steele dossier. So they did, Stephanopoulos did an interview with Christopher Steele. I tweeted it and I called him Michael Steele. I don't know what's wrong with me. Anyway, I'm mentally impaired. Anyway. So he says he stands by everything in the dossier. There's nothing in the dossier that's been disproven. He does believe that the PP tape does probably still exist, but it definitely happened, and that the Russians didn't, when they asked why didn't the Russians use it, he said because he felt that the Russians got everything they wanted out of Trump and more, and they didn't have to use it. So they probably got it tucked away for when they do need it, you know? Can you believe it? Can you believe that? So there was that, and then what else? Oh, yeah. So Stacy99 tweeted me, Leah, I confess, I cheated on your skincare and paid lots more, and I had breakouts. I'm back to being loyal to you. Well, honey, you're not the only one we've heard that from. Thank you. Then there was a sign, a meme that was on Twitter that with Trump holding a sign, and it's just so true. I will burn this entire country down to save my own ass. Trust me.
Yeah, sure, it's a
I
meme.
love that. So in housewife news, if you guys want to get into hilarious, so Steve Lodge spoke with the Hollywood Life. Now remember that was Vicky's boyfriend, and they were going to be engaged or were engaged, and then he was going to fill up her love tank, and then he was going to run for governor, and then she was going to be first lady. You know that Steve Lodge? Okay, well they had a public split. He claims that Vicky bought the ring that he gave her when they got engaged. I think it was being used as a storyline for RHOC, he said. I'm not famous, nor do I want to be. No, I don't want to be famous. I'm just going to run for governor of California. She was showing her true colors, and I just wanted my life back. She's looking for attention, he says, to get back on a show, any show, and she just doesn't understand the word no. I told her a long time ago I was done with our relationship. She just kept hounding me relentlessly, but I kept saying I was done. No, you didn't keep saying you were done, motherfucker. You didn't say you were done because you wanted to run for governor and you thought it would help you. Be honest. Oh, my God. I've moved on. Maybe it is true that he did want to move on, but he used her to run for governor. So anyway, I've moved on, and she obviously hasn't. Her recent comments about me cheating are not true. I just want her to leave me and my family alone. They don't want to hear it anymore, he said. And then he goes, thoughts, question mark? I didn't read all the comments. What do you think? What are your thoughts?
I think Brooks and him should get an island.
That's a good one. He and Brooks can go reminisce together. That's funny. That is hilarious. He and Brooks, the cancer guy. See, now I have to say, I do not think Vicky was lying and playing along. I think she believed that he had cancer. I can't imagine anybody. I just don't think she did. I mean, a lot of people disagree. Do you think she knew he had?
Yeah. Had gone to her with evidence of some stuff, and she still backed him up.
Yeah, but if you're in love with somebody, you're not going to believe the girls on the show that you know are lying to try to take you down.
Yeah, but it was medical stuff. It wasn't even like rumors or stuff. They were showing them medical evidence.
Yeah, but
and he was
you remember that medical evidence was all holistic.
Yeah.
And there are people that believe only in the holistic, and then they wind up, getting sicker. So I don't know. Some of them may wind up getting well. I don't know. Anyway, in All About Truth had an article that said Vanderpump wants to be back on RHOB, but on Housewives of Beverly Hills, but she's demanding more money than Kyle, and she's acting as though it would be a favor to the show if she came back, and she's wanting on there because the Vanderpump Rules is having low ratings. Do you believe any of that?
No. Well, I think she would come back if they gave her the salary she requested and got rid of everyone else, but I don't think they're going to do that. And honestly, right now, I kind of like this group.
I think they've got a good mix.
I think they have a good mix right now.
And I heard they may not have Dorit back. I love Dorit.
Yeah,
Remember in the very beginning when everyone was piling on Dorit, and I always said I love Dorit. She's a star. And now look how she dresses. And that PK is hilarious. Remember when everyone's criticizing him? And I said, no, he's really fabulous. I want him on the show.
Yeah.
I hope they don't get rid of her. I'm going to text some people I know and say, I hope you're not getting rid of her.
Well, I think that they have a good mix right now. And then I saw today Lisa Rinna's post on Instagram.
Oh, what was it?
Because tonight's the second part of the reunion.
now I gotta remember
and it's
to
a
watch
picture of her going like this.
Lisa Rinna.
This is
my
reunion
God.
number 2. It's her flipping everybody
But
off.
who is she doing? Oh, just
It's
everybody.
an old picture of her
Oh, it's
doing
just
this.
everybody.
And then she
Okay.
just put that out there
Yeah,
because
but no one directed
because
to no
tonight
one.
she's probably got to
She's
get
probably
it.
going to get into
Yeah.
it tonight.
Yeah.
Well, I like the mix that they have. I don't know if it's true or not. I just have no idea. But
Yeah.
anyway, they're reporting that she wants back on the show, and she's demanding more money than Kyle, and that she thinks she'd be doing the show a favor. I'm sorry, the ratings are higher than they've ever been, I think, aren't they? They're pretty high.
They had the reunion was the season high last
Oh,
week,
was it?
and they had I think it was at 1.5 million viewers, something like that. So that was the season high that they've had, and that's the most any of the franchises have had for a while. Because they've all been
good
kind
for
of
them.
failing.
So meanwhile, I'm sitting sitting at home, minding my own business as usual. I'm telling you, I don't call anybody. I don't go see anybody. I just stick to my reading. I stick to my stuff at the house. I stick to my few friends. Most of them are in California. I stick to Roy and Roy Jr. I just live my own little life. Of course, everything lands on me. Everything lands on me. I get this call yesterday from a person that I know is in the know, tells me one of the girls on the Housewives show hired a writer to write one-liners for her. She wants to be known as the one-liner girl. And I knew right away it was true because that same girl did it back on season 3.
You're talking about the Miami Housewives.
Yeah, and the Miami Housewives. And if you remember, I was having a confrontation once and this girl leaves and goes to the bathroom and she comes back with this one-liner. She had gone in and read her notes. Well, the girl that wrote the notes for her, and she had gotten a guy from Page 6 to write notes for her, that person was writing one-liner. They were writing one-liners for her. So now she's going to get to paying someone to write one-liners for her so she can be like the one-liner girl on the show. I mean, oh my God.
And still might wind up being a friend of.
I just, honestly, I just can't. Why? I can't deal with people like that. It's just beyond embarrassing. I mean, cringe. Would you not cringe if you're on a reality show and you've got to have somebody writing scripts and one-liners for you?
Well,
oh my God.
You got to consider the source.
She was trying to write the whole storyline of the last season. Yeah. She was having little meetings and they were plotting their little storylines. That's why I was burned out on the show, to tell you the truth. I like it to be real or not at all. Anyway, next, we want to take a break?
No, the customer, Tracy Barrett, yes, she's asking if the skincare bundle is and the specials are still going on. Yes, they're still online. Go to leahblack.com. We have the Jeff Lewis. Well, we have the Jeff Lewis special there that you can click through. It'll take you there, but it's leahblack.com/Jeff. Or you can also shop our fall event sale, which is still currently going on. It's 25% off with the code fall event on select products.
And that fall sale won't be on for long.
Everything goes back off on Sunday, and the box will be over with tomorrow night.
So in royalty news, Prince William is shading Jeff Bezos and Elon Musk because he thinks they should be putting their money towards the climate and the environment.
I saw that.
Well, they probably should. On the other hand, what are you doing, Prince William, about it? What are you doing about it? You're sitting over there like the king to be. I don't see you doing anything about it. You've got one of the biggest voices in the entire world. I don't see you running around setting up things and educating people and holding forums and calling things and putting documentaries together and educating people on climate and raising money for climate. I don't see you doing a damn thing. So not that they shouldn't help with it and bring it to everybody's attention, Musk and what's his name, Bezos. But you're not doing anything, and you've got the biggest voice of anybody. You know, I just, with people,
well, much. He had a garden party for his mom's statue this week.
He did.
That's what they did.
But Harry didn't go, right?
They didn't go.
I don't blame him. And the Queen was also, criticizing that she was caught on the microphone criticizing that no one's doing enough for the climate.
Did you see they offered her the oldest award, which is like the award for someone who is elder in society?
Yeah.
She turned it down and told him no, thank you. She didn't want an award that said she was the oldest of anything. That's what she told him yesterday. It was on the news this morning. I was laughing so hard.
I love the Queen. I love her and all the tiaras.
They said she was 99 years young or whatever however they were talking about it.
Good for the Queen. I hope that the Queen, I prefer Charles over William. I do prefer Charles over William. William, the way he has treated his brother and the entitlement that he and that wife of his, and they do nothing. I'm sorry. I don't.
It's called the Oldie of the Year Award. That's what it's called. And Queen Elizabeth she says, you're as old as you feel. Thank you.
What an insult anyway, Well, that's with age comes wisdom.
Yeah.
Leah's life lesson this week, our quote of the week, be fully self-expressed and you will shine your brightest. Well, sometimes when I'm fully self-expressed, I don't necessarily shine my brightest, but I do like to lecture others. Oh my God, and COVID news. Did we take a break, James?
We did not, but that's okay. We can keep going.
Oh, in other words, no one's sponsoring us.
No,
one
but
bought any
there's a new thing in the system, so we don't really have to stop for 5 seconds. It identifies where there's a spot.
I thought it's because no one's advertising on our podcast.
No, Exxon was advertising last week, so
they were.
Yeah. So.
Well, they better go clean up their mess.
It was Exxon Mobil, and it was all
I
about
better
green,
stop.
their green
Really?
stuff. Yeah.
I should stop criticizing them if they're a sponsor, but I'm gonna criticize them anyway. Go clean up your mess in the ocean. So in COVID news, 62% of police deaths last year were COVID related. What is it with the police department not wanting to get the shots?
Well, it's not. It's like it's like the police, the firemen,
the police, the firemen. It's
that whole first responders thing that I don't understand. They're the ones that should know about medicine and stuff, if anybody.
And it's down 40%.
Political.
We have it. The COVID is down in 40 states, and in 50 states, in 40 of 50 states, and 1 in 8 seniors have had the booster. So at least 90,000 COVID deaths since June were preventable. That is heartbreaking. If you're sitting here listening to this, and your relative or kid or daughter or aunt or cousin or mother or father or uncle or brother died from COVID, and you now know, based on scientific data, that 90,000 COVID deaths since June, that's June, July, August, September, October, the last 5 months, were preventable. Don't you feel like a complete idiot if you didn't get the vaccine, the booster if you could, aren't socially distancing and aren't wearing a mask? I mean, how do you live with yourself? The virus is 8% lower in the Democratic states because they wear the mask. They wear the mask and they believe in the vaccine and they believe in science. You know what it is? It's these religious people that are like, God's going to do it. Really, He gave you a vaccine. Take it. And then did you see, oh my God, that conservative radio host says he went out and started hugging everybody he could trying to get the COVID so that he could build his own immunities. Then he went straight down and got the monoclonal or whatever it is thing, which cost thousands of dollars. He didn't mind taking up that product. He doesn't mind having the hospitals take up their time. He doesn't mind taking running up the hospital bills that are paid for by us. He didn't mind doing all that. He wanted to prove the point that he could run around and get the virus and build his own immunity. This guy needs a psychiatry award. He doesn't need a radio show. What an idiot. And I don't believe him either. I don't believe him. This is what I think. I think he got COVID. And in order to never admit it had nothing to do with the vaccine or the mask or the social distancing, he's saying he got it on purpose. I don't think he got it on purpose. He got it, and now he's trying to say, I tried to get it. I wanted to get it to prove. Just stop with these people. Oklahoma doctors called 40 hospitals, 40, to find an ICU bed for a COVID patient that had internal bleeding. They could not find any space, and he died. Now, you're in Oklahoma, and you're not wearing a mask, and you're not vaccinated, and you're running around spreading virus, and somebody can't get a bed, and they die. You don't feel any remorse about that? I don't think they do. I don't think they feel any remorse about it at all. I can't believe it.
Yep.
I want to find this one.
What about the Seattle? Was it the Seattle or the Chicago police department where like a third of the police department did not get the vaccines, and so tomorrow is the day that they all have to resign or go on leave.
Yeah, a lot of them walked out,
and they
you
walked
know
out.
what? People have said it's averaging about 1%, and so goodbye, bye-bye. Listen, that's like when Ronald Reagan fired all the air traffic controllers.
Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah, you don't want to follow the guidelines? Goodbye. And guess what? The airline industry survived and we moved on. Yep. So listen to this. So Colin Powell was a chief of the Joint Chiefs of Staff. He was the Secretary of State. He was a 4-star general. He served in several wars. He was an iconic guy. They duped him into lying about the weapons of mass destruction in Iraq by convincing him they did have weapons of mass destruction. When he found out they didn't, 2 years later, he came out and publicly apologized and said that he was given wrong information. They used him because he had so much credibility. So he dies, a hero. And so listen to what Trump's comment. Did you read it?
Yeah, that's where that meme came from.
Yeah, oh yeah.
People were.
Listen to this. Yeah, exactly. Listen to what Trump's comment. This guy, he's 84. He got COVID. But he also had Parkinson's disease and blood cancer. So, you know, he went in the hospital on a Friday and died 5 days later. His wife also got it and she survived. Listen what Trump's comment about this literally American hero, 4-star general. Oh, wonderful to see Colin Powell, who made big mistakes on Iraq and famously so-called weapons of mass destruction, be treated in death so beautifully by the fake news media. Hope that happens to me someday. Couldn't happen soon enough. He was a classic RINO, Republican in name only, if even that. Always being the first to attack other Republicans. He made plenty of mistakes. But anyway, may he rest in peace. What kind of a piece of garbage would say that? Remember, he said nasty stuff about Barbara Bush before she was even buried. I mean, he is just horrible. So according to TSA, people are bringing more guns to the airport in record numbers right now. Why are they taking guns to the airport? You know, you can't get on the plane. I don't know. Against the advice of the judge, a Capitol rioter, the guy that was rioting at the Capitol in the insurrection, said he wanted to represent himself, and during the process of representing himself, he accidentally admitted to 2 additional felonies. Now, did you read that? Oh my God, Florida. People, we are a laughingstock, Florida. Okay. A female teacher in Florida was having sex with a 15-year-old, and now she's pregnant.
Was it the people I caught in my yard on Labor Day weekend across the street from Barry University?
Yeah, it was on Perez Hilton's side if you want to read the article. Can you believe it? A female teacher was having sex with a 15-year-old student and she got pregnant. Oh my God. I guess she doesn't believe in abortion either, and so she's just going to go have that baby. And then by the time I don't know. 85% of the world's population already lives in areas where we have human-induced climate change, according to ABC News. So why is it people don't believe in science when they're living in the floods? Did you see Joe Manchin doesn't want to help support climate change, and his state is being devastated by climate, by flood, by coal, by fire, by all of it. And he doesn't want to fund the climate change initiatives, which would really replace the coal jobs with good energy jobs. It'd be better for the coal miners. They wouldn't get iron lung and die. It'd be better for the environment. It'd be better for everybody. Why? What is it? Well, they say he owns a bunch of stock, or he's made between $1 and $5 million in a blind trust by selling this coal company to his son when he went into office. And a huge amount of his funding comes from, fossil fuel, and it's just, I can't.
Well, I grew up next to West Virginia. That's all they have really is coal. They don't have anything else in that state.
The government's plan is to replace the coal with green energy. And then it's going to give you new jobs. You're not going to die from your lungs.
But most of the people that live there are, and I don't mean this rude, because there are certainly educated people there, but there are a lot of people that don't have the advantage of going on and being educated to learn a skill, and they're stuck there their whole lives, and they don't understand that this is a new opportunity for them.
Yeah, and this is what leaders do. Leaders go into their communities
and explain
they educate
exactly.
people.
And that's what he's not
We're
doing.
not taking this from you. We are replacing it with something even better. And the reason people are speculating that he's not doing is because he's making so much money off his coal business, and he's getting so many donations from that industry.
Absolutely.
And that is just, in my opinion, it's just
horrible,
criminal. And he's a Democrat. Listen, I'm going to criticize you whether Republican or Democrat if what you're doing is wrong. I don't care. I just can't. When Bill Clinton had that little thing going, I was all over him about that. So it just makes me ill. I just can't. Elon Musk is worth $222 billion, and Bezos is only worth $191.6 billion. What a horrible problem. Bezos, you should be ashamed of yourself. Oh my God.
Well, you're getting some pushback here. Denise A says, like, that's really going to happen, Leah. Like, the government is going to train and educate all these new people. You're being naive.
Well, they put it in the budget, and they put out they didn't just put it in the budget. They have a comprehensive plan on how they were going to do it.
Yeah.
This is a Congress that is really working. They're legislating. They're not just throwing out ideas for popular. They know it's not popular in certain things, but they're going for it anyway, because they say if we don't do something about the fossil fuels and the climate, that we're going to have problems. I agree with you. The government doesn't always work for people, but you know, Biden's getting ready to go to the whole world climate thing outside the country in the next month, or the end of the month, I think it is. How can we say we're leading on climate change when we're not doing anything to help the climate? I mean, if you want, you can't ask other people to cut back on their carbon emissions and their coal and their, fossil fuels and their things that are destroying the climate and heating up the planet if we're not willing to do it. So they're putting them in a horrible position. And by the way, it's not overnight. It's a phase out. By the time the people that are in it now phase out, it's the next generation that they would be saving their sons and daughters and children from getting iron lung and polluting. It's just, I don't know. I can't. The Dutch bank loaned Trump $700 million to help. I just can't. During the time he was in office, the Dutch bank loaned him $700 million. What about that is proper? And Justice Kennedy's son is the one that was heading the loan department at the Dutch bank. And then coincidentally, Kennedy retired in 2018 in July, and they were able to get Kavanaugh confirmed. There is a lot to unpack there. They need an investigative journalist on Kennedy's son at the Dutch bank, Kennedy, and Kavanaugh. And by the way, who paid off Kavanaugh's $200,000 debt and his country club memberships and his credit cards? Somebody paid all that off. He doesn't have that debt anymore. That was Trump is just a crook. I don't care if you can say whatever you want. You can be a Republican. I have a lot of Republicans I have a lot of respect for. Liz Cheney, did you see her last night? She was amazing. They voted to put Bannon in jail for shooting his finger at the committee for
the
subpoena. And so I'm just livid about that. I just really can't. Anyway, and now currently, according to the new Gen X, side parts and skinny jeans make you look old. Oh my God, these girls need something more to do. And then the Rose Garden was in bloom recently, and I tweeted out, don't invite Melania. She'll tear that damn thing down again. Do we have any more time?
You have about a minute.
Okay, so a Florida man goes into a jewelry store in Tampa, tries on a Rolex, and runs out with it. I don't know if they caught him or not. It's on tape. He puts it on and runs as fast as he can. I was like, oh my God, they're going to catch you. Oh, this is a cute story. So this couple goes to Las Vegas, and they get to the airport. They have a little too much luggage, and they say you can either pay for this suitcase to be, sent off, or you can try to consolidate. So they open up their suitcase, and inside the guy's boot, guess what comes out?
What?
Their 5-pound chihuahua. It's stuck in the suitcase. Thank God they opened it. He could have suffocated. Oh my God. Little 5-pound rescue chihuahua was hiding in his cowboy boots. Oh. So let's leave on a good note. We'll leave it at that. There's plenty more. Clinton is out of the hospital. President Clinton's out of the hospital. He was in there for 5 days. So let's wish him well. And let's just move on down the road. We're out of time. I mean, I could go on. Listen, I could go on for 5 days. There's so much to talk about.
Don't forget, we still have the special going on through tomorrow for the Jeff Lewis Autumn Beauty Drop.
500 milligrams of CBD, the wash and the eye cream for $149. Save $100.
Yeah, $115, 44%. So, all right, everyone, thank you very much for tuning in. And
see you next week.
See you next week. Bye-bye.
Bye.